Hello at Times viewers, Judy Shields here. Today we welcome Texas Country Music Association award-winning artist Trey Calloway. Hey Trey, pretty cool.
Hello.
Cool name.
Hello, Judy. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, Judy. Thank you.
Nice of you to join us. I guess there's a whole lot of things happening with you, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They're working me to death, but I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, we know you're here to talk about the release of your latest single, Backroad Believer. That's a pretty cool song. I really like it. We've got to tell
Thank you.
me the inspiration for that song. I hear there's other co-writers. Tell us all about it.
So I wrote this song with Stephen Cade and Andy Renfree, and the song is a little bit semi-biographical about myself growing up. I grew up in a Pentecostal church. My dad was a Pentecostal evangelist
Oh,
growing up, so I would sing at all of his revivals that he would preach, his different churches that he would go to and preach these revivals. I would get him in front of the congregation and sing, and that kind of got me caught on the music bug at an early age. Probably about 6 years old, I started singing, and so that teenage angst, you mix a little teenage angst in there, and you get this song. It's about more of like a teenager kid. That's why I say semi-biographical. Maybe somebody who just got his first set of wheels. But we don't always find God in four walls. In those four walls, sometimes we find him out in His creation. So that's what the song's about. It turned
yeah,
out really
it's
good. People are really responding well to it. So I'm happy about that.
yeah, it's very motivational, and
Thank
we
you, man.
we need that today.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if I'm being honest, I hate to say it, but I originally thought this song might not stream all that well because is there a place for the Lord in modern country music today? And I'm glad I was proved wrong. It was my fastest song to hit 100,000 streams. Just in a couple of days, it hit 100,000 streams, and I was like, well, God proved me wrong, and I'm glad He did. That makes me happy.
So does that come, is that on Spotify? Is that where those streams
Yes, ma'am.
are?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay.
We put it out and it took off, and we were like, "What is going on?" And but we're loving it. I mean, honestly, it was like I said, it was my fastest one to hit 100,000. It's still going strong.
So Trey, do you actually like hold your phone and watch it, or does management call you and tell you? How does that work? Tell us. I don't
I
know what that
I
feels like.
well, I try not to. It's not good for my mental health. I try not to look at social media that much.
Yeah.
But kind of in the environment that we're in today with the music business the way it is today, you kind of sort of have to if you neglect it,
Yeah.
then it'll suffer. And so I try not to stare at Spotify. We can't help it, especially when a song of ours is doing really well. We're like, wow, this is really incredible. But no, I usually keep myself pretty distracted. I have a team of people who watch it a lot closer. They're a little bit more removed from it than I am. They watch it a little closer than I do, and they'll always tell me if something good happens. If it gets playlisted by a big playlist, they'll let me know, and it's always a good pick me up for the day. Yes,
No
ma'am.
kidding. So were you also featured on CMT?
I sure was. That was the music video for Miss Gone by Morning. That was the first music video of mine ever to be featured on CMT, and that was a big deal for us. I remember calling my mom and dad, and they had a little screaming match over the phone, a little shouting. They were happy, good shouts, and that was pretty cool. That was the other. There was two times they've really gotten excited over the past a little amount of time. We've been really hitting this hard. They got really excited when I met Whisper and Bill Anderson. I got to the honor to sing at his church, and
Wow.
got to talk to him after the sermon. Got to take a picture with him, and he was really cool guy. Just very laid back and didn't have to impress anybody. That kind of person doesn't have to impress anybody. He was just cool and calm and a lot cooler of a guy than I am. So it was nice to meet him. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he's like, I guess he'd be one of your heroes, right? Do you have many of the
Oh,
country music heroes out of Nashville or
absolutely.
Texas? Who are they?
Absolutely. My so I have a lot of musical heroes. I'm kind of a student of all music, and of course, country is what I decided to make my career. But I'm a student of all music. But some of my biggest musical influences would have to be when I first started singing country. My mom and dad were like, "We're going to make sure that you have a very rooted foundation in the roots of country music and the true history." So they bought me this country music greatest hits collection that had George Jones and Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and Conway and Waylon and Willie and all that good stuff on it. And so I fell in love with that old country from a very early age. Probably about 13 is when I started getting in real heavy into country music. And then later on, it was Garth Brooks and George Strait, and Alan Jackson. The '90s guys kind of did well what I've been trying to do, which is blend that old school with the new school. The '90s guys did that really well. They gave it a more polished shine,
Yeah.
um, and everything's very technical. And the players got to show off on the records, and they got to show what they could do. The '90s was a great time for studio musicians as well. They got to show off what they could really do, and that's one way I think that we're a little bit different than some other artists out there. Is that I'm in the studio, I let the musicians show off. I let them show the talents that God's blessed them with as well. And Miss Gone by Morning, the music video, that song is a prime example of the players showing off. They went off
Yeah.
on that record, and I was really proud of them. So, yes, ma'am.
So, do you play guitar, and what other instruments do you play, and what age did you start with those instruments?
I I dabble in a few other stuff. I would say I'm pretty proficient on the guitar. I would call myself somewhere in between a lead guitar player and a rhythm guitar player on the
Okay.
guitar. I'm not a virtuoso on the lead guitar, but I in a band I was in Myrtle Beach before I moved to Nashville, I had to play lead guitar because we couldn't find anybody to play lead guitar. So there was a while where it was me on lead and singing the lead singer, and then we had a piano player and a fiddle player. So that was kind of our front three, and that was a lot of fun. And I dabble in harmonica. My team gives me a lot of a hard time because I've got a really nice harmonica set that I don't practice very much. They've got me so busy; it's hard to practice. But I dabble. I can play some licks on the harmonica here and there, just enough to kind of dazzle a crowd for a minute. But I was told by a really proficient harmonica player some years ago that a little bit of harp goes a long way. A little bit of harmonica goes a long way.
Yeah.
You don't want to play the harmonica too much in a set because it'll wear on people's ears after a while. But I play a little banjo. I picked up the banjo. The banjo's fun. The banjo is more of like a around the house kind of
Yeah.
instrument for me. And I tried to learn how to play the fiddle one time, and it did not go well. The fiddle is
Oh,
a difficult beast to master.
yeah. I took
It's
it in
crazy, Judy.
elementary, and it's like, okay, that didn't, plus it's like, I want to play the fiddle. And they're like, the fiddle? It's a violin. No, they wanted me to do orchestra music. I'm like, okay, I told my parents, nope, they don't even know what a fiddle is. So forget it.
Judy, do you think your listeners out there know the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
Probably not. You should tell them.
Okay, a violin has strings and a fiddle has strings.
There you go.
There is no difference. They're the same instrument.
Exactly.
It's just how you play it. It's how you play it.
Right?
Yes,
But all
ma'am.
I knew was called a fiddle. It was never called a
Yeah.
violin because I learned when I was young because my dad was from Oklahoma. So I grew up with all the old traditional and I still love it today.
Very
So it's
cool.
it's great to hear as I can call you at 64, youngins who are trying to bring that back, and give us some
You're
new because I'll take new, but I like to have a little of the steel guitar. Give me some of the old stuff and put it in there with the new
absolutely.
stuff, and I'm happy.
I'm not convinced you're 64 years old.
Yes, can
I'm
you
not. I'm
imagine?
not. I'm not convinced on that one. But
I got a 22-year-old grandson. It's like, goodness.
wow, wow. I have a son who's getting ready to turn 10 in October.
Oh,
He's a good boy.
is he
His
learning
name
to
is
sing?
Cash.
Cash?
Well, he Cash is his name. Yes, he's very
Oh,
musical, and I always I never started off to push him into the music thing.
yeah.
I wanted him to find music kind of the way I did, sort of through a kindred or almost an organic love of it. Hey, people like it a little bit when I do this. So I never really tried to push an instrument into his hands, but he is very, very musical. He takes to it almost as easy as anything I've ever seen. And he wrote a song actually not too long ago. And granted, he was about 9 years. He's 9 years old. I think he was either about to turn 9 or already 9 when this happened. But he wrote a song and he sang it to me on the way home from school one day. And I was like, "You didn't write that." I didn't believe it. I was like, "You didn't write that." He said, "Yeah, Daddy, I did. I wrote that." And it was a whole chorus and it was really good. The structure was good. Now the words were more like a pop song, kind of
Yeah.
didn't make a lot of sense, and it was more about vibe, and a
Yeah.
feeling. But the words and the structure and the rhyme scheme were very advanced, and I was like, "Wow, you wrote that?" So time will tell whether he's got the music bug, whether he sees, it's a tough business. I want him to always be knowing that it's a tough business, and if you're going
Yeah.
to do it, you have to dedicate your whole life to it. So, But yes, I also have a baby sister who's 9 years old, and she's very musical as well.
Oh my goodness. See,
Yeah, a
that's
lot of
great.
lot of lot of musical talent in the family. I on my mom's side, we always joke and say that I got the style and charisma from my dad's side. That's the joke, and then we got the musical talent from my mom's side. Just about everybody on my mom's side could sing or play something.
Yeah. Did you take any classes for music or anything like that in college or?
I was in choir and band and all
Nice.
that stuff pretty much all through school, and then I took vocal lessons. That was really what helped me the most. I took a few vocal lessons from a lady. I cannot remember her name. She was the sweetest lady, and she ended up moving her office where she was doing her lessons from. She ended up moving it across town, so we couldn't drive out to see her anymore. That's why we stopped. But I think
Oh,
I probably took about 10 lessons from her, and those lessons I took helped me dramatically. That was probably the most teaching I ever had that really helped me were
okay.
those things right there. And like I said, I was in choir. I did some theater stuff. I remember being in Peter Pan as a kid. I wanted to be Peter Pan, but I already had a beard, so they wouldn't let me be Peter Pan. So I think I ended up being one of the brothers, one of Wendy's brothers, or something like that. Right now we are working on finishing up releasing the Wanted Man album that's coming out on September 27th,
Okay.
and we've got one more single off that album called "That Was Us," and
Oh,
"That Was Us" is actually the only song on the record that is a solo write that I wrote by myself, and I've had that song for a long, long time. Didn't ever think it would get cut, but it did,
oh,
and we're going to put that one out. That one releases the same day, September 27th, as the one man, and then we're jumping right back into album making mode. We're going to make another album right after that. So
my goodness. How long did it take you to make the upcoming album?
all in all, about a year.
About
All
a
in all, about
year.
a year. We cut 6 songs um, at the middle, like, kind of like the end of summer, kind of like now of
Yeah.
last year, and then we cut the rest in the early part of this year. And we've been it was 6 and 6, and then we kind of put it together as the One Man album. We knew we wanted to do that, so all in all, about a year. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Now, will it be coming out on a CD or just like an EP only?
We don't know. We did a hard disk set for, we called it the Essential Trey Calloway, which is basically
Okay.
every song that I had put out as original music before the Wanted Man album. So this CD that we have out already has everything I ever did, which is 30. It's 30 songs.
Wow.
Yes, I know I put out a lot of original music over the years, and
Awesome.
but Wanted Man is my second album. So
Okay.
Carolina Man was my first one back in 2017, and now we're doing the Wanted Man album today. And somebody actually asked me the other day the difference in the Carolina Man album and the Wanted Man album. And I really didn't produce the Carolina Man album. It
Okay.
was like I was a baby. I was just a baby when I made that album, and it was like, okay, kid, just sit over there in the corner
Oh,
and sing when we tell you to. It was one of those kind of deals, and
okay.
it was a
Yeah.
great learning experience for me. But this Wanted Man album was basically co-produced by me and Grady Saxman, the producer. So this one
Great.
has a lot more of my soul in it, um, and I'm very proud of this album. I think people will like it very much. I hope they do.
I can't wait. Well, we'll have to catch up with you. The 27th is going to be here before we know it, right?
Yes, ma'am. Few weeks.
Jeez. I also read here that you secured a 2023 Country Song of the Year titles from both the Texas Country Music Awards and the Josie Music Awards, as well as a Gospel Song of the Year recognition from the Carolina Country Music Association. Well, congratulations on those. So where do you keep your awards that you've won so far?
Some of them are here. So I have an apartment in Nashville, and
Okay.
I live here most of the time. And then, well, pretty much all the time. And then we have a house. My fiance and I'm getting married next month, as a matter of
Yay,
fact, in October.
congratulations.
Thank you. October 12th, I'm getting married, tying the knot. And we have a house in Myrtle Beach, and she lives there. She works for a company that's based out of that area, so she stayed at the house. And half of my awards are there, and half of them are here. So they're starting to accumulate. It's a huge honor. I'm blown
Yes.
away. And somebody, people ask me, do you do it for the awards? And the answer is no, I don't. But
Yeah.
and that's an honest answer. But I will say it is human nature to to be grateful to be noticed for your hard
Yeah.
work. And there's a lot of artists out there working their butts off, and I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the wonderful, hardworking people that have surrounded around me and believe in me. So it's a testament to that. So I am proud of those awards. I appreciate you bringing them up. Thank you very much, Judy.
Yeah, you're welcome. How about any Christmas songs? You have a favorite Christmas song? Are you going to put one out so we can look forward to that one of these years?
We do actually. We have a Christmas single kind of in the can, so to speak, right now. It's a song that I wrote with my buddy JP Williams. JP actually helped me write "Horses in Heaven"
Okay.
and a bunch of songs that I haven't cut yet. JP and I wrote a song called "Horses in Heaven" that's on the Wanted Man album,
Okay.
and Doc Lewis and Cody Kelly were the other writers on that song. One of my favorite songs on the album. But to talk about the Christmas song, I my manager called me up and said, we for the past couple of years we've just basically been dormant through the holiday season because we need a Christmas song and you haven't put one out. So I called JP up and I said, JP, I'm going to be in the studio in 3-4 days. I need a Christmas song. He said, well, let's go. So I went over there and we wrote a song called Christmas with You. And it turned out really, really good. And we recorded it and it's coming out in, I think, the end of November.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you about that then, because I love my Christmas
Very cool.
music. So
Very
we'll
cool. Me
we'll
too.
get you back on here.
Best time of year. Isn't it the best time of year?
Exactly. What are you going to ask Santa for this year?
A Grand Ole Opry debut.
Good answer. And I'll fly out there
that's
for
been
that.
that's been my same Christmas wish for the past few years. I It's my ultimate dream. As far as career wise goes.
Yeah.
On a personal note, I would say a happy, healthy family. My son and my parents and my in-laws and my future wife and our future kids. I just hope
Yes.
everybody's healthy and happy.
Yep, that's all we can ask for. Share with us your
Seriously.
social media. How can we find you and your music?
So Spotify is a great place. I would please ask that everybody go follow me on Spotify. That's a good way to hear all the music I've been putting out. I'm also on Apple Music. The social media platform that I'm most active on would be Instagram. But we have TikTok and Facebook and all that stuff too. But Instagram is definitely the place where you'll see more of what's going on with me. I'm also on Bands in Town. That's linked to my website, which is TreyCallawayMusic.com. And TreyCallawayMusic.com will direct you to everything. But Instagram is definitely the number one social media platform that I'm active on. And please follow me on Spotify. That's a big one.
That's what I hear. I've heard some of the people I interview that it's all about Spotify, and I'm
It
like,
is.
what you
Spotify
guys.
is the Spotify is the new record store. There's no
Yep.
doubt about it.
Well, that's true. I always pass that along, folks. So we'll put a link there for that. But this interview will go up on our YouTube channel, the Hollywood Times Official, and we thank you for being on the show with us. It's really great to meet you, and I'm hearing your music, and I'd love to meet to me, new singers who have been around.
Yeah.
And congratulations on the upcoming album, and we will
Thank you,
put
Judy.
that up as well when that comes out and let
So
everybody.
where are you based out of?
Hollywood, California.
You're in. I was gonna ask, are you in Hollywood?
Uh-huh.
I've always wanted to get
Hollywood.
out. I've always wanted to come out there. One of these days I will. Maybe I can. Maybe if I have a little bit of music success, I can get into the acting business.
You bring out your new wife and the son, and you go to Disneyland. We'll get you into Disneyland. I got connections over there, so
Judy, that sounds like an absolute plan. We would love that.
you come on out here and we'll show you around.
Well, thank you very much. This was a great interview. You're a great interviewer. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. So have a blessed day, and
Yes, ma'am.
we'll keep in touch.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Be safe.